So, welcome back to not another episode of Is It Due to My Lack of Experience? Because sometimes I don't want to talk about being a virgin. Sometimes I want to talk about other things. So, if you don't want, if you don't want to, if you're not interested in seeing it, hurt my feelings, I guess. So, this is like the first video that's not related to my series, the first like YouTube video that I'm gonna be posting because you guys are just up my ass every day. YouTube channel. Here's the fucking YouTube channel. And you better watch. Because I also wanted to talk about like other topics that I think like interest me and that I'd like to share with other people. And yeah, that's basically just what this is. I've never really like formally introduced myself. I never say my name in my videos. Like I never say, like I have this thing where like I hate saying my name out loud. Like, I just cringe every time I say my name out loud. Like, I love my name, but, like, I hate saying it because I feel like I sound so, like, disgusting. So, I thought that since it's, like, the first non-series related video, I probably should introduce myself, like, formally. For those of you who don't really know my name, number one, because maybe you don't pay attention to, like, the subtitles, or to people who know my name, but perhaps don't know how to pronounce it. So, here it goes, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I hate saying my name out loud. I don't know why. Okay, but yeah. So my name is Shamila. That's my name. That's it. That's my name. Now that we got that out of the way. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that is kind of, I don't know if I would say it's special to me, but it's something that I feel like a lot of people in our generation kind of experience, but we don't really talk about it. And when we do, we kind of like beat around the bush because Gen Z has this tendency of like making a joke out of everything, which can be great. You know, like it's good to like laugh at like our pain sometimes. But I think that with Gen Z, like we kind of make everything super like quirky, like, oh yeah, my boyfriend broke up with me. We always talk about like not having friends or like being alone, but no one really talks about being lonely and how that can genuinely affect you, especially loneliness within community. By community, I mean loneliness in your household, loneliness within friend groups, loneliness at school, at work. Anytime you are in an environment where there typically are people for you to have companionship with, but you just don't for God knows what. So loneliness is something that I didn't even realize I was experiencing until like I got out of it. Like in the moment, like I didn't actually like clock the fact that like I'm lonely and I'm really sad because of it. I'm an introvert, right? I'm an introvert. I genuinely love being alone. When I'm socializing with people, when I go out, I really look forward to going home and being by myself. So I've never had a problem with being by myself. A lot of people constantly want to be surrounded by their friends or just like other people in general. I've just never been that type of person. Like I like being alone. I enjoy being alone. But I went through a period where like me being alone was no longer a choice. It was like my reality that I just couldn't like escape anymore. And that's when you slowly start to creep into like loneliness and you don't even like realize it. Because when you choose to be alone, it feels like self-care. It feels like, wow, like I'm taking time for myself and I'm really enjoying it. But when you're alone because you have no other choice, that can really be so detrimental to your like mental health and just like your livelihood. Loneliness was one of the reasons why I was just so miserable at some point in my life. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying that I was like depressed, but I've never felt that type of sadness before. Like I've had tragic things happen to me and I was like sad about them, but like loneliness gave me this type of sadness that it was just so like indescribable. When I was lonely, that sadness, I don't even know how to like describe it. Like you're genuinely like you're not even sad, you're like miserable. that's what loneliness can do to you. It's not even about like, oh, I'm just having a sad day. No, you're fucking miserable. And you just feel like shit all the time. Loneliness within community. Because I feel like in some way, loneliness within community is so much worse than just loneliness on its own. When you're lonely and you're constantly like at home, like you're not really going out or anything, yes, that can be bad, but it's not as bad as constantly being surrounded by people, but still feeling alone. Like when there's so many people around you that you could have companionship with, that you could have a relationship with, but you just don't, that like affects you 10 times more, I think, because it becomes more apparent to you that you are lonely, that you are alone when you are constantly surrounded by people. But none of these people are close to you. You don't have a relationship with any of these people. Like seeing other people form like relationships like so easily, it can really make you feel like, okay, then if everybody can manage to like have friends and find their own tribe, then why can't I do that? Like, why am I still alone? Like, what's wrong with me? I didn't realize how much that affected me until, like, I think it was like a month ago. Me and my mom were talking about a specific situation that I went through and how, like, during this time I was, like, really, like, lonely. And I started crying. And although I did cry about it before, but this was the first time I cried about it in front of my mom. And this was also the first time I cried about it after like a while. Like I thought that I was over that period of my life, but I don't know, there's something about like talking to your mother about like your problems that just evokes so much like emotion out of you. Because I could have sworn I was over that shit. But then when I talked to my mom about it, I started like sobbing because although I'm not lonely anymore, when I was going through that time, like it was just so sad. Because again, I've never felt that type of sadness in my life. I didn't know if I would ever like escape it. I was just like holding on because I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I'm good by myself. I'm just going to take myself out on solo dates. I can be friends on my own. I can do things by myself. And that is good to spend time by yourself. But sometimes you really do need people. You really do need people. Like you can't self-love yourself out of companionship. Like I said that in one of my previous videos, but like it's really true. Like as much as you love yourself, as much as you enjoy spending time with yourself, there's always gonna be that part of you that kind of yearns to be around other people, not just with friends, but maybe even with family as well. What's it like to feel lonely, especially loneliness within a community? I think sometimes it's, for me at least, being lonely within community. Let me not even call it community because, like, they're not your community, these people. But, you know, let's just say when you're lonely in group settings or in environments where there are a lot of people, when you're lonely in those settings, it kind of feels like you're stranded in the middle of nowhere. You know what it feels like? It feels like an introvert going to the mall alone. You know when you, like, go to the mall and you're supposed to meet up with your friend and your friend isn't there yet and you're just like standing there like looking around like hoping that your friend comes like at any point. That's what it feels like when you're lonely. Like you're just constantly at the mall by yourself and it's month end. The mall is full and you're there by yourself. That's what my loneliness felt like. I constantly felt like I was just stranded in the middle of nowhere. I'm surrounded by all these people. Even though I know these people, it feels like I don't. Like it generally feels like I'm on some deserted island. It feels like I'm an alien on like a different planet. Like you just feel so far removed from your environment as well as the people around it. Like it really does feel like you're stranded in the middle of nowhere and no one can help you. Like no one can help you because sometimes you do try to get yourself out of that loneliness. You know, try to put yourself out there, but maybe it just doesn't work for some reason. Because even though I was lonely, I tried to, you know, put myself out there, try to make friends and try to like be around people and, you know, really try to connect with people, but it just never worked. And that further fueled my sadness because it just felt like maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm just meant to be on my own. Maybe I'm just meant to be alone. And whenever I got the chance to like be with a friend, or like be with my mom perhaps, that's when like that sadness kind of just melted away. Because a lot of my friendships are very long distance. Like I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have any friends with I don't have any friends within close proximity. As it was approaching for me to go back to my reality or the environment that I'm in, like primarily, I just felt so sad. I felt so sad because I just knew that, okay, I'm back to being stranded. Like I'm back at the mall by myself, and I would just cry. I was like crying at the end of every day because I just hated my reality. I hated the fact that I'm so alone. Like no matter what I do, I'm just destined to be by myself. And sometimes, especially when you're someone like me, you don't want to remove yourself from these situations. You kind of just like try to console yourself, or try to be alone and be comfortable like by yourself, and try to tell yourself that you don't need other people. You can't like do anymore. Like you can't console yourself anymore. Like you can't get yourself out of this sadness, and you really just have to come to terms with the reality that like you are lonely. And at some point, yeah, like you are gonna feel kind of numb to the situation, and maybe it's like whatever, but when you're still going through the motions, that loneliness can really like affect you a lot. Loneliness is happening to a lot of us, but like I said, with Gen Z, like we have this way of just being quirky about everything. Like, oh, I'm lonely, I have no friends, haha. Especially on like TikTok. Like TikTok will like a person will make a TikTok about the worst tragedy that's ever happened to them with like a Future song playing in the background. People will be telling you like the worst thing that's ever happened to them, and some like quirky music is playing in the background, and we're all in the comments like, oh my god, girl, that's so crazy, me too. Like we're not actually as honest about how we feel, or maybe we are honest, but we're not as raw about like the reality of our issues, because we're constantly trying to like make a joke out of everything, be like quirky and like, but a lot of us are really lonely, and people don't really talk about that as much. Going back to me being an introvert and liking to be alone, right? There's a song by Adele. It's called My Little Love. And the song itself isn't necessarily about loneliness, but it's about her son and their like relationship, and her whole album is just basically about the aftermath of her like divorce, I think. But specifically in that song, towards the end, there is like voice messages of her and her friend, as well as her and her therapist. I feel like today is the first day since I left him that I feel lonely. And I never feel lonely. I love being on my own. I always preferred being on my own than being with people. And when I heard that lyric, it really spoke to me, because that's exactly how I felt during that time. Like this is the first time in my life that I felt lonely, and I enjoy being on my own. I enjoy that rather than constantly being around people, but for some reason I just feel so lonely. If you ever experience loneliness, I just want you to know that you're not the only one, girl. I cried every day too. I know that like with my other videos, I don't really have like an outro necessarily. I just like ended when I feel like, you know what, I've heard enough of my voice, it's time to end this video. So for now, should I like say thank you guys for watching? Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe. Okay, I'm not gonna do that, but yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know, like sometimes I feel so much pressure to like be entertaining. Like I love and hate the fact that people enjoy my videos, because I feel like I constantly have to like outdo myself, or I constantly have to be like entertaining, because I feel like that's what people are here for. So when I'm not like chaotic, like when I'm just talking like normally, I'm just like, okay, like are people gonna think this is boring? Are people gonna be like, oh my god, can't you shut the fuck up? Can you talk about being a virgin? Like we're tired of this. So, I hope that people enjoyed this video, and I hope that people enjoyed learning something about me that's not related to my virginity. I hope that I hope that this was still interesting for you. And also, I have a link in my description and like my bio to a form that if you have enough time, can you please just fill it out? Because I'm just trying to find out more information about you guys and what type of content you want to receive from me in the future, and just other ways that we can engage with each other. So if you're interested in that, you can fill in the form. It would mean a lot to me. If you don't fill it in, it's okay.